Preservation of culture is an oxymoron. It's a crazy idea. Culture can't be preserved.
Back with another explosive sit down. Let's go.
Find all this culture conversations so frustrating, right? Because culture is how things play out at a point in time.
100%.
Right? I mean, I commented on one of the videos by Aaron's Roots where he's talking about preservation of Afrikaans culture, and by part of preserving it is to probably ring fence it somewhere else. I'm like, you can't be serious. The very different definition of Afrikaans culture is what comes out of diversity.
100%.
Like it's like the biggest irony. Like there is, I mean, you've touched on it a number of times. No one got here an Afrikaner.
Yes.
The only reason we can even talk about Afrikaans culture is actually what comes out of a melting pot of diversity. So you will think a culture that comes from that background will be pro-diversity, because without that diversity, they don't even exist. You spoke about, I think in one of your videos, you spoke about even how the language comes.
Afrikaans is very diverse. Dutch and Khoi.
It was called decomposed dal. It was the kitchen language. And you correctly said it was actually the kitchen workers, which were not white, obviously, who were trying to make sense of the different languages. So they took a bit there. So that's why you will see a lot of French origin, Khoi origin, Xhosa origin in the Afrikaans language. Afrikaners is the celebration of diversity. To come and argue that it must be ring fence is...
It's counterproductive and it's counterintuitive to how
so
you guys got here.
Yeah.
But then, and look, I agree with you guys. You know, I was having a chat.
No, you're agreeing with Jan.
No, but the idea, no, about the idea of culture and how we need to. Some people want to preserve it, but the fact that you can survive without saying I am this thing, you can still coexist in the world.
Hey guys,
what I'm gonna throw it at you guys. Then what do you say to people who say, no, my identity and my culture is through the lineage of the man? And people who make shows about it, I don't know my identity, blah, 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 things are going bad in my life. It's because people are claiming that it's linked to a surname, and that surname is linked to a certain way of living, which is a culture. Then what do you guys say to that then?
Preservation of culture is an oxymoron. It's a crazy idea. Culture can't be preserved. Culture is like a river, right? It just reflects the current circumstances of where water is flowing today. This is why we end up saying pap is African, whatever. Like, it's crazy. Pap cannot be an African food because it came on, like it came on a sheep.
A lot of people will argue that pap is ours and fit.
It cannot be. So even things we call, this is my tradition, this is my culture, it's nostalgia. It's the kind of the idea that there was a point where life was predictable and it worked this way. Societies have to always evolve, and that's really the piece we need to make. People mix up issues. Sometimes people want to say, okay, but we need to know where we come from. There's nothing wrong with saying, I want to know where I come. That's very important. Yeah. But don't start to be all crazy about it. I mean, you touched on something where I did not even know this, that in my part of the world, we've got a sub-tribe, if you like, called land called Bagoni. I did not know that comes from a subset of the Ngunis.
Abangoni, those who don't sing.
That actually ended up in the Limpopo. Like, it's insane. Like, to your point, if you trace this thing long enough, we are all same.
So at some stage you're gonna end up not knowing who you are.
No, you don't have. You need to know who you are, but that has got nothing to do with something you need to be tied to and obsessed with. There's a different component of it, which is the psychology part of it. The psychologists argue that we've got existential angst. Like constantly, you ask yourself, why am I here? Like, you need to find some form of meaning.
You have to believe in something to belong.
Some purpose in life.
Some purpose in life. So there's an argument by psychologists, we are not rational beings, we are rationalizing beings. So now that you need this thing that says you mean something, then you go back and try to stitch together something that affirms that.
Yes.
Like, you want to feel like your lineage means something.
That's it for today. Hope you subscribe. See you on the next one. Let's go.